What do you think of when you think of the word work? Do you think of the place you go every day for several hours and just kind of put your time in and, get paid in return? Or do you think of drudgery and task and chores? Or perhaps you think of backbreaking labor and sweat? So no matter what the word work brings up for you, chances are it has a more negative connotation. It's usually seen as something that's kind of the opposite of fun. But work has probably been given a bad rap. Just like these wonderful tarot cards that I love to talk about so much, there is shadow and light to the concept of work. And there's also different layers and aspects to work. And one aspect is, of course, the drudgery of doing a task or chore that doesn't really interest you or excite you, simply for the pay. This is the most mundane and most common form of work or image of work that most people think of. But today, I like to talk about a different face of work, that of service, and more specifically, spiritual service. I want to ask you today, who do you serve? Who or what is your spirit in service to? Hi, Keisha here of New World Tarot. Thank you for joining in. This March 9th marks a new full moon here in the Northern Hemisphere, and this time it arrives in the sign of Virgo. Virgo is, of course, ruled by the element of earth, and it's all about work and service. Now, in our very aggressive, material-centered sort of society, it is very easy to kind of get caught up in a sense of just going out to get yours. We can kind of get fixated on just working hard for our paychecks, just to get what we need, to take what we deserve, and just move on. And in many ways, this is what we're encouraged to do. But any wise person, anyone who's lived their whole life that way, will likely tell you that for all the striving and hoarding and earning and, nose to the grindstone working, all of that will likely fail to satisfy. And, we've kind of lost count, haven't we, of how many people have shared that as personal wisdom. They've shared that nugget of for striving for the sake of striving, collecting for the sake of yourself, cannot be all that there should be to work. Instead, these wise sources have told us time and time again that a huge insight and a key to happiness is service to a higher calling, and that is working for something bigger than yourself to benefit others. So this is not to say that there's anything wrong for working for yourself for your own benefit. And this is wonderful and important and needed, absolutely. And if you want to work, to get yourself wealthy, then do it. That's great. But that could also be incomplete. You also need to put your energy to work for others for the benefit of others. And the most simple version of this is, of course, volunteering. And this is working for free in order to help others. Interestingly, though, this can also be used as a form of punishment, can't it? For example, it can be demanded of others to volunteer in order to avoid jail time for a crime or in order to avoid fines. And so, for that reason, volunteering can actually bring up negative feelings as well. And if that is what it does, I think it's because there is no soul in it. So when we put ourselves in the service of a higher calling, serving feels very natural and even joyful. And the way to really find out who or what you want to serve is by asking the question, how do I want the world to change? Okay. You can also ask the question, what is the change that I desperately want to see in the world? Okay. So again, how do you want the world to change? And what is the change that you desperately want to see in this world? And these are great beginning questions because they will kind of point you in the direction of what your spirit is here to help solve, what your spirit is here to help heal, and what your spirit is here to help repair on this earth. This is where your spirit is needed in this world. So, what is the change that you desperately want to see in this world? What are your earthly triggers? Perhaps you get incredibly angry at the idea that poverty exists in such a world of abundance. Perhaps you go through the roof at hearing stories of violent hate or war. And there could be more than one of these for you. But the question remains, How do you want the world to change? You should look to find ways to put your spirit into service for this higher work. When there's a change that needs to happen, when there are people suffering that you desperately want to save, when there is kind of an entrenched way of doing things that you know we can do better, and you know we kind of need to improve upon and do better, then you're on the right track. And this can run, the whole scale from social change to innovation. And you likely can put yourself in higher spiritual service to different things or people, okay? And there is no one as well, really, who can say that it has to be grueling and exhausting either. Just as one example that hopefully I can show you what I mean, okay? Bill Gates, for example, has put himself in the higher service of technological innovation and spreading worldwide abundance. Now, he clearly has been put here for, among other things, moving people towards a brand new way of work and commerce and doing things. And he also as well is here to help eradicate poverty. And he's always been incredibly passionate about both these things. And of course, none of us are perfect. So, any example, obviously it goes with a grain of salt. But as simply an example to kind of show you what I'm kind of talking about. And there are so many ways to serve. And you can also serve and still be compensated. That certainly is a form of service if you're making a change in others or the world and still providing a needed service for others. It can definitely be a benefit to blend both making a gift of your service and receiving compensation for your service from those who are able and willing. So this full moon in Virgo, who do you serve? If you don't know already, let your soul guide you there. Okay? So I'd like to talk about a couple tarot cards very briefly. And from the Alchemical Tarot, 4th edition, of course, by the awesome, incomparable Robert M. Place. Really good, beautiful deck. And I've actually selected 2 cards that kind of play upon, what I want to kind of bring out here. So the first one is the 8 of Coins. Okay, in a moment I'll have these up on the screen for you. But of course, this shows a man hard at work. He's stamping coins. And this is a very mundane, sort of repetitive job that he's doing simply for the pay. So the 8 of Coins is a card that is traditionally, a card of work, and it's actually also associated with Virgo as well. The astrological correspondence with this is going to be Sun in Virgo. And this is often associated with just kind of working on your craft and kind of just, putting your nose again to the grindstone and just kind of doing the work that's needed, whether that be apprenticeship, whether that be just working away, plugging away, and mastering your craft. Now, what I like about his deck is his deck is a little bit different. In his deck, all of the 8s are actually about work. And you'll see the 8s kind of in the Alchemical Tarot as being different facets of work and different layers of work. And his 8 of Coins is all about just very mundane, repetitive, non-exciting work. It is about work that is only here to pay the bills, okay? So this is usually, in the earlier description of work, was what we kind of described as what most people think of when they think of work. Now, he also has his 8 of Vessels here, which again, it has a little bit different meaning than it does in the Rider-Waite in this deck, in the Alchemical Tarot. And this one is all about spirit in work, okay? It is about doing the work that you are placed here to do, which is kind of about what we're talking about. It's kind of about being in service to spirit and being in service to a higher calling. And this is work that you are born to do. And we have here an artisan who is creating crafts. And on the wall is actually a symbol, an alchemical symbol for the Animus Mundi, which is the spirit of the world, which is basically implying that this man, unlike our man from the Eight of Coins, he is doing a higher work. So he has been, he's being moved by spirit. His hands are shaping these pots in a way that only spirit could provide the guidance for. And this is kind of what we're talking about. We're kind of talking about that, the doing work and being in service of spirit, being in the hands of spirit, really, to come here and to create the unique change that only you can provide. Okay? So what I would like to do very quickly is a quick little bridge draw in a moment. And we're going to pretty much ask, using the alchemical tarot again, how can we, as the full, okay, being that we are constant students and constant adventurers on this planet, on Earth. We have so much to learn. We're constantly learning new things. We're constantly having new experiences. How can we learn to really seek out, you know, the work of our spirit? How can we really do this, put into service and work a higher calling? Okay, so we're just going to pick a couple cards and just see what we can do to best answer that question here. Okay. So the first one we have is the Queen of Staffs. Okay. And the second one we have is the Knight of Coins. So we have two court cards and answers. So I'm going to have these cards, this little draw up on the screen for you in a moment. Okay, so in asking how we as students, you know, how we as travelers who are always constantly in seeking out experiences on this planet, how we can learn to really move with spirit to create spirit fueled change on this earth, and how we can put ourselves in service of spirit to change the world. We have the Queen of Staffs and the Knight of Coins. And the Queen of Staffs really jumps out at me, and staffs to me are of course ruled by the element of fire, and staffs to me are all about that burning drive, your passions, those things that naturally just come to you, those natural gifts that you have, this without any training. You just automatically do certain things very well. And this is truly a key to what you're here to do, the work that you're here to do, the service that you're here to do, and who you should serve. And again, it's just all about just what burns you, what drives you, what do you, when you think of the world that you want to create, you know, and creation is also an aspect of staffs as well. When you think about this world that you want to create, what do you want to see? What do you want to envision? And the Queen of Staffs to me is about truly the intuition side of our passions. And it's about nurturing that and nurturing our passions as well. And it's just about truly, you know, mothering that aspect and letting it out. And she, now in this particular deck, in the alchemical tarot, Robert Place's deck, she's holding two torches. One is meant to signify the refined on the left, and the other is the more natural on the right. And it's often seen as having a choice, but I also kind of seeing as both aspects. So number one is represented by the torch on the right with that raw wood torch. Again, nurturing that raw burning within yourself and just following listening to the intuitive side of your passion and following where that flame leads. But at the same time, on the refined side as well, you kind of want to, you can also build upon that. You can also actually take, for example, raw talent and actually shape it into something even greater with training and with some sort of guidance and some sort of shape as well. And that's kind of what our Eight of Vessels man is doing here. And our goal, you know, he's basically, he has a, you know, a natural ability to work this art and work this clay. But he's certainly has a skill set, I'm sure, that he's actually trained in what he's doing to make himself even better. So that's an aspect. Now with the Knight of Coins here, and the Knight of Coins in the Alchemical Tarot takes on more of the flavor, according to Robert Place, and I really like this, of defense and defending something that is important. And it's kind of when he kind of, you know, implies that whatever is behind the shield is what we should defend. So I'm seeing the Knight of Coins here, and he is defending the Queen of Staffs. And what I kind of think about that is protecting that passion, you know? In other words, you're naturally drawn to things for a reason. Don't, and especially being, you know, Knight of Coins, which is a very practical suit, but protect that from others devaluing that part of you. People may say, you know, why do you like that, you know, fill in the blank? Why do you into, you know, this, I'm struggling to think of an example right now, but why do you think there's no money to be made in that? Like, we always put in our society such values on things that can only be tangible or profitable measured in money, you know, and you should protect that. Protect your passions, protect your interests, protect your intuition, protect yourself, protect what you want to do, and protect your own desire to create change and your own desire to service others from attack from others, well-meaning or no. Okay, just really, really learn to foster that, what burns within you, and just keep that light from going out at all costs. All right, well, that is it today for this full moon in Virgo vlog. So thank you for joining me, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of your weekend and week coming up. And we will see you next time. In the meantime, be happy, be safe, and just be healthy, and many, many blessings to you. All right, thank you very much, and see you next time. Take care.